I'm so excited! If you're watching this video, you probably know that the first trailer for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out a couple weeks ago. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing. I am a ginormous Spider-Man fan, and this is like all of my dreams coming true. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is an animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is an animated Spider-Man movie coming to theaters next December. Not this December, next December. Except it's not just an animated Spider-Man movie. It's an animated Spider-Man movie starring Miles Morales, not Peter Parker. If you don't know who Miles Morales is, allow me to explain. I'm such a nerd, I actually have the comic book where Miles Morales first appeared in. In the comic books, Miles Morales is an ordinary teenage kid with some familial issues. He's really close with his uncle, which is his dad's brother, but his family really doesn't want him to hang out with his uncle. They talk about how he's a bad influence, even though that Miles really doesn't understand this and doesn't know why. In reality, Miles' uncle is a professional burglar. He steals stuff. One day, Miles' uncle went and stole things from Oscorp. While he was doing so, one of Oscorp's genetically enhanced spiders crawled into his bag. Later that day, he goes home to his apartment, and then Miles decides to visit him that day. He and Miles talk, and while they're talking, the spider crawls out of his uncle's bag and bites Miles. Just like Peter Parker did, Miles gets enhanced spider powers. While he's kind of learning about his abilities and learning about his gifts and kind of just getting used to them, Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man, gets killed by the Green Goblin. So New York City doesn't have a Spider-Man anymore. Miles takes it upon himself to become the next Spider-Man. He starts off really inexperienced and he's terrible at his job. Literally, his first Spider-Man suit is something that he bought from a costume shop. It's really cheap. It looks really crappy. Eventually, though, S.H.I.E.L.D. notices him and gives him this awesome black suit that looks super sweet. And then he basically becomes a real superhero. In my opinion, Miles Morales is a really cool character, and I'm really glad they're finally doing a movie of him. And I think animation is the perfect way to do this. All of the buzz about Into the Spider-Verse started way back in 2014 when Sony got hacked. Remember that? That was a long time ago. Anyway, one of the things that was leaked from the hack were emails between Sony Animation's president and their vice president talking about how they want to rejuvenate the Spider-Man franchise by creating an animated Spider-Man movie. Sony obviously didn't like that they got hacked, so they didn't acknowledge the leak. But a year later in 2015, they officially announced the movie, that it was going to be an animated Spider-Man movie, and it was going to be outside of their current universe. However, we all know that Spider-Man became a part of the Marvel universe in 2016, after the announcement of this Spider-Man animated movie. So personally, I actually didn't think that they were going to continue with the animated movie. I thought because of the fact that they had struck a deal with Marvel Studios and Spider-Man was in the MCU, they were just gonna leave that project and decide not to do it. So I stopped paying attention to the news about it. What I did miss was that in 2016, they announced that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were gonna be working on the script and working on producing it. And then in January of this year, apparently at Sony Animation's big expo that they have, they showed a 30-second little teaser trailer for the movie also. Then, a couple weeks ago, they released the first official trailer for the movie. I was extremely pleasantly surprised because I totally thought that they had canceled this movie. So like when I saw the trailer in my YouTube feed, I was like, oh man, it looks so good. So here's the part where I talk about what was actually in the trailer. In the trailer, it talked about more than one person wearing the mask, and also the movie is just called Into the Spider-Verse. So I'm really excited. That means they're most likely gonna go with multiple Spider-Mans in this movie, not just Miles Morales, not just Peter Parker's death, more Spider-Man, which is awesome. If you're not a comic book nerd, you may not know that like there's a gazillion Spider-Mans in the comic books. There's so many. And if they do what I think they're gonna do, they're gonna incorporate a couple of them at least. This movie is outside of the MCU. It's a Sony film, so they can do whatever they want with it, which I think is really cool for a Miles Morales story because you don't have to shoehorn him into the Marvel universe. Another thing I'm excited about is simply the style. The style looks really cool. It's definitely different. It's different than any other animated film I've seen. But it looks really cool. They're going for a really stylized look that's really different, and I like it. It also looks like they're gonna try to make it just a sweeping scope of what it's like to be Spider-Man, swinging from rooftops, all that stuff. Just the free falling, like all those shots in the trailer look epic, like it's awesome. And New York looks beautiful in those shots. Like it's dark. It's really weirdly stylized, but it's beautiful. It's super cool. One thing with the story, I think is gonna be funny. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are funny guys. I think the script is gonna be good and funny. However, I just hope it's not a complete comedy film. Like, Spider-Man needs to be funny. Like, that's just a part of it. However, I hope that there's moments of seriousness and moments of weight. And I think if they do that right, this could be really, really good. And I think they will do that just from the dark aesthetic that we got from the trailer. I think it is going to be pretty serious at times. But yeah, I'm super excited. This is going to be awesome. Literally, after I saw the trailer the first time, well, first thing I did was watch it again and again and again, like 10 more times. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait this long. Like, I can't wait a whole nother year. It's just, oh, I'm such a big Spider-Man nerd. It's terrible, but I can't wait. Oh man, it looks awesome. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Funnily enough, I had to record this whole episode twice. The first time I did it, I had just gotten out of the shower, my hair was all wet. My room was not clean whatsoever. It looked super messy. And I forgot to turn on my microphone. I also forgot to simply even plug it in. It's okay. I think this time turned out better. If you enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, have a great week. See ya.